Hey everyone, welcome to the GeezMikey 600 subscriber tabletop card display challenge. So some of you guys have real big collections and have no problem filling up big tables. My collection isn't all that big, but it's full of cards that I really love. And a lot of them go all the way back to my earliest days collecting as a kid. Pardon the mess around the table, still very much in the middle of spring cleaning and some shop projects here. Just got this temporary setup out in the workshop here. So I dug through a couple of vault boxes looking for my favorites. And, favorites for different reasons. You got the modern stuff that's cool. And got the junk wax stuff that's cool. Because, nostalgia. And those iconic cards from my childhood. Now, I wasn't a child when many of them were made, but as a kid, these were the cards that we really, really wanted and thought we'd never be able to afford. Those sort of unattainable cards. And then the vintage stuff. And sometimes I just like food cards, especially with Hall of Famers on them. So I only recently discovered GeezMikey's channel, and it's actually thanks to this challenge. I was watching the Mangini collection, his video response, which, needless to say, was incredible. And I was like, I've never heard of this GeezMikey fella. So, been very much enjoying binging on some of his videos. Great idea for a challenge. Real generous of him to do the giveaway. So this hole in the middle is on purpose. And it very much relates to the very origins of my card collecting. I find myself saying we quite often when I'm talking about opening up packs of cards back in the day when I was a kid. The packs that we opened. And, I guess to a lesser extent, maybe sometimes I'm subconsciously referring to my brother. But mostly, I'm subconsciously referring to my best friend back in the day. His name was Michael. I just called him Mike. His parents called him Michael, especially when they were mad at him. And I met Mike the first day of second grade. He was standing outside of the school building up against the brick wall, and he was this kid playing with a Voltron figure. Remember Voltron? The lions, not the vehicles. Had to be the lions. So he had this, I think it was the black lion he had. I remember because he had the paws kind of folded up, but not tucked back into the shoulder. Like there's this little flap on top of the shoulder that you open up and you tuck the front paws up into it when you wanted to turn him into the robot. And he was kind of looking like he didn't know that. So I went over and I showed him, look, these little compartments open up and you can fold his paws all the way up in there. And from that day, we were inseparable. It turned out he just lived right down the street from me too. Just, no more than, 6 or 7 houses. We played together all the time. He's the one that got me into baseball cards. His dad collected, kind of passed the hobby on to him. He had way cooler cards than I did. He had the complete 1985 Topps set, which, man, I thought that was amazing. And Mike's favorite player was Tom Seaver. He was a Mets fan. His dad was a Mets fan too. They relocated to New Hampshire from New York. And, we loved a lot of the same players. A lot of the guys that you're seeing on the table here. But really, he loved Tom Seaver. And both of us always drooled over that 1967 Tom Seaver rookie card. I mean, talk about unattainable as a kid. Well, Mike moved away, I guess, when I went into the 5th grade, moved out to Ohio, and kind of lost touch with him. Wrote a few letters, called on the phone once in a while, and many, many years went by, and I made some attempts to try to reconnect with him on social media, after that became a thing. And could never really get hold of him, and ended up finding out that he had some serious health problems, and by the time I discovered this, he had actually already passed away. So, always real bummed that I never got to talk to him one more time. But I need to put that 67 Seaver rookie card right there someday. So that's why I've got that hole in the middle of the table. I wouldn't say it's the card that I've always been after, but I know it's the card that he was always after. And I know it's a card that I'd love to have in my collection just to remember him by. Anyway, sorry if I was rambling there, but these are some of my favorites for very different reasons from my little collection. I promised at the end of the last video, opening the jam packs, that the next video would be talking about my recent pickups. A lot of vintage stuff, some newer stuff too. And this video kind of made a liar out of me. And not only that, I'm kind of spoiling some of the surprise here because there are a few cards on this table that are in that pile of stuff that I'm going to talk about in hopefully my next video. Anyways, thanks for watching. Get down to your man cave or in your closet or in your living room or wherever you keep your cards and get them out and enjoy them a little bit.